Weekday nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. TTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ices on the mic, energy, it's good delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse that's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave. Sports with ice, it's waves and waves. Tigers strike and Bengals roar. Every game we want some more. Tune in and feel the thrill. Strawberry ice, he's giving chills. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. TTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Weekday nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. TTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ice, he's on the mic, energy, it's pure delight. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, Iceman Jeff Turnipole. And as always, I'll bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of some of the best bars around. And I highly recommend you go to a couple of them. But do me a favor, join me this Friday at Millions Cafe right there in Mount Lookout Square, live at 6:30. Me and I think Harrison, the comedian, is going to be there. And we're going to have some good time talking some Bengals, Bearcats. I know the Bearcats basketball team will be playing, so I'm sure the game will be on. We have a little watch party there, but join us there at 6:30 to 7. And then join us again this Sunday night at Trillions. We got a watch party again. It's me and Harrison, comedian. Neil might stop by. We'll see what happens. But it's going to be a live broadcast, music, fun time, and we'll be rooting the Bengals on to victory, at least. I hope so. That would be nice. We need a victory. What's going on to everybody in the chat? We got strangers in there, Brad's in there, and Tony Blazin. What is up, guys? All right, so I was just talking to Neil here right before the show started, and apparently we had some interesting, colorful language from Jackpot Joey here for the press conference, right?
Yeah, and as we talk about this, I think that was the most colorful language that we have seen Joe Burrow use all season.
Right.
But respectfully, I
right. Yes, exactly. Basically, he doesn't know how to get the ball
get
to
Jamar the
effing ball. Exactly. So we've heard that before. So hey, you never. This is going to be interesting. What happens this Sunday? Unfortunately, it looks like Orlando Brown was not participating in practice again. I don't know how you go to questionable to not even participate in practice. So is there more to the story? I don't know. Maybe we can find out more when Joe gets here.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like there was a setback, if you ask me, because obviously being around the college athletics and everything.
For my job at UC,
the
moment you see somebody
go questionable to out.
That's a little strange.
It's a very strange feeling, and it kind of gives you the
feeling
that they will be trending in the
downward
direction for Sunday. And
No. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. We got to get a win.
You got 2 more days.
We'll see what happens.
But obviously, with the team leaving for Los Angeles on Friday, that Jack Taylor told reporters today that they plan to leave a day early to get extra team bonding.
Yeah.
And I think that's needed.
I think it's definitely needed.
Right
Right?
now, I think that's definitely needed. But it's still not a fight you like to see because obviously
in the recent weeks, Cincinnati has really struggled without Orlando Brown up front in the offensive line.
There. Everybody see my wife said I have to meet you on StreamYard. There, try that. Say something.
Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear him now? Is that better? I hope that's better. And I can hear him out here. So he's muted on. Actually, I think mute yours. Actually, you are muted. You are muted. Never mind. There we go. All right. So you did get to talk to Wes Miller today, right? And the number 17 ranked University of Cincinnati Bearcats. What's Wes have to say about this season so far?
Yeah, so overall today we spoke to Wes Miller moments ago. It was about 1:30. We got to speak with him. We discussed, obviously, today is the first day of the early National Signing Day period. So they announced the signing of Keyshawn Tillery, top 50 prospect out of New York.
Ooh.
So, or the New Jersey area.
New York, New Jersey. It's kind of the same thing.
And it's a big-time addition for Cincinnati. That was a big-time priority target. They beat out Virginia. They beat out a couple other schools in the mix for Keyshawn Tillery. But overall, we got to give his insight on Tillery now that he has officially signed the dotted line on the national letter of intent. Because for those who don't know, once they verbally commit, the coaches are still not allowed to publicly talk about them. It's an NCAA rule. But until it is pen to paper, that is when, once that paper of national letter of intent is signed, that is when coaches are allowed to talk to him. So we got a lot of good stuff from Wes Miller on Keyshawn Tillery and what to expect from him next season for the Bearcats fans out there. But overall, we got an update on Dan Skillings. We got an update on Day Thomas. So we got the injury updates as well. We'll start with Day Thomas. It sounds like he went through practice on Monday. He was fully medically cleared. Let's get that the first thing out there.
That's good. That's good.
He has been medically cleared, but as Wes Miller said this afternoon, they're going to be overly cautious. And
it's not a bad idea.
Not a bad
idea.
And for Cincinnati, obviously, heading into Nichols on Friday, it's probably a good thing to get him some practice reps, especially you don't want his first game to be NKU.
No.
And if you ask me, after what happened 2 years ago at Tourist Arena, you don't want history repeating itself.
Right.
So, sounds like he's going to be ramping up some practice throughout the week, but Wes Miller was not able to give a full status update for his Friday night.
Right.
Sounds like they are going to be playing it super conservative was the phrase he used. Said they would let us know more on Friday, right up after shoot around. So
we need him ramped up and ready to go by what's conference play? December 29th?
December 30th.
30th. That was close to 29th.
It sounds like Day Thomas is trending in the right direction, but as Wes Miller said, they want to be super conservative, but it's something we'll know more on shoot around. So that's a positive injury update. And even with Dan Skillings, the injury that people now know as the knee injury, it's a lot more positive than people think. Like, it's not positive he's hurt, but
it's not as bad as it could have been.
The procedure was not as bad as what
he already had surgery.
Had surgery Monday morning.
Okay,
and it was a procedure that was Wes Miller said could keep him out for. He kind of started with the time frame, and then he was like, "Oh, it could be 1 to 2." He said 2, and then he goes, "Oh, it's going to be week to week."
There you go.
But it sounds like it was a minor procedure.
Torn meniscus.
It is not really 100% sure, but it sounded like a slight tear in the meniscus. But overall, the procedure happened, and it is a injury to where the procedure happened. And in its best case scenario, that Wes Miller said it's not going to affect him long term, but he will be able to be back there rather soon than what the original timeline was. But he said, just like Day Thomas, they're going to be super conservative with him. And honestly, that's a smart thing, considering Dan Skillings is NBA bound.
Yeah,
at one point in his career. So
this could be his last year if he has a good enough year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he led Cincinnati in scoring last season. He led them in, was second on the team in rebounding behind Aziz Bandago. Overall, this isn't the loss you want to see right now for Cincinnati. No. But the good positive news is they expect him to be back this season, and hopefully expect him to be back before conference play. And if anybody knows Cincinnati's conference schedule.
It's
You
a
want him-
gauntlet.
You want him back before conference play, get him a couple more games under his belt. But that conference schedule is their
Yes.
NCAA resume builder.
Oh, dude, how I meant to ask this last night. I've said I think the Big 12 conference is by far the best conference in basketball. I mean, it might be the best conference in history, to be honest. But how many teams do you think from the Big 12 are going to get in there? There's 16 teams in there. Can we get 7?
Think you might be able to get double digits.
Woo! And all right, what do you think?
And
Like
the re-
10, 11?
I'll say at least 10. And the reason
Okay.
I say that right now is you look at the AP top 25, there's 5 teams from the Big 12 in the top 25.
Right.
And Kansas looked like a number 1 contender last night. You have Kansas, you have Arizona, you have Baylor, you have Cincinnati, you have BYU is going to be a team that plays in the tournament. Texas Tech could be a team that sneaks in there. You have a lot of quality teams. Houston, can't forget Houston. They are going to be a juggernaut this year in the Big 12. There's realistically that the Big 12 sees 10 of the 16 teams in the tournament.
Wow. They just talk about UC's first couple games. I mean, they got Kansas number 1 at home.
The first 4 games is Kansas or Arizona at home. They go on the road versus Arizona,
They got-
Kansas,
They got Baylor in there too, don't they?
Baylor. Yeah, the first 4 games it's Kansas,
Ridiculous.
Arizona, Baylor, and one more in there. So it's going to be a
It's-
gauntlet.
Yeah, that's the
Gonna be a
thing.
gauntlet.
It's a resume builder, and if they can go in there and it for all the Bearcat fans out there, you don't worry about the record. I mean, because it's a gauntlet. They're not gonna. I mean, we're not gonna. This ain't gonna be a season.
13 and
we're,
7 in conference play will get you in the Big
Yeah,
12,
we're not gonna win
into the
30
Big
games
Dance.
this year, but it's 13 and 7. If you can do that, then I think that's doable with
It's
this
definitely
team.
doable. And if they achieve 13 and 7 in conference play, they're going to go dancing.
Well,
But the biggest thing for that to happen is everybody knows how hard it is to play at Fifth Third Arena.
absolutely.
You got to win on the road. And you go to Baylor, you go to Houston, you go to a couple other programs, BYU, Utah. You're going to go all across the country this year. But overall, you got to take care of the games that you're supposed to take care of, and you have to win on the road. You can't just win at home in the Big 12. You got to find ways to go on the road and get those nitty-gritty W's.
And the thing is, last year, I mean, they did have some road wins, and they could have had more. There was a couple
7 games by a 1 possession.
Yeah,
Lose 7 games by a total of 1 possession.
yeah, and a couple of those were road games. A lot of them were road games.
And one of them was at home versus Texas.
Yep,
And I
yep.
do plan to ask Dylan Mitchell at one point this season his thoughts on that play last season, because Max Abmas definitely traveled, and I will stand by that.
It was
decision.
bullshit.
But overall, you look down, I mean, they were right there last season. And the biggest thing for Wes Miller and the staff this offseason was to bring back the continuity of this team from last season that had so much success last season. Then you bring in a guy in Dylan Mitchell who's just a freak of nature, who could be that impact player right away for this Bearcats team. It's going to be exciting for this Bearcats team heading into the conference slate for sure. But 13 and 7 definitely should find your way dancing in the Big 12 tournament, and not only the Big 12 tournament, the big dance, but you also got to take care of your games in conference and non-con as well.
Yeah, and a quote Alex Meacham last night. He said this team should expect a Final Four. That's what that's where this team is talent wise. They should expect to be there, and that is music to my ears, because I mean, maybe we haven't had that here. The expectations of that, I don't know, 99, 2000, somewhere around there was the last time that I really felt that way.
Before I was born, most certainly.
God, I'm old.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it was. Like in the 90s, that's what our expectations was to get to the Final Four. After the 92 team, we had the 92 team. Then the 94 team was the Elite Eight team, I think. So we expected to go pretty far and expect every year to make the NCAA tournament. And Wes seems like he's gotten us back to that point. Now, it's all on paper, but you got to go do it. And like I said, being in the conference we're in, it's not only going to help you get into the NCAA tournament, but it's going to make you ready for it. And like Joe said last night, I actually think we have the guard play to help this year, because when you get into the tournaments, you need guard play. And with Day Thomas, who will be healthy, and Jizzle James at the helm, those are 2 guys that could get paid eventually, especially Jizzle. And
yeah, Jizzle could find his way to getting paid this year if he
Yeah.
does everything that's as planned.
Mm-hmm.
But guard play is going to be huge, especially when you get down the stretch. We saw it last year in conference play, but most certainly in March. If you can't get guard play, that's when teams come alive in March. And they win in advance, it's due to elite guard play. And I mean,
Right.
Cincinnati has an opportunity, not only with Jizzle James, but with Day Thomas fully healthy, Connor Hickman coming here this offseason. I mean, guys, Connor Hickman's just as good as Jizzle James and Day Thomas as well. Like, Cincinnati realistically has 7 or 8 guys that could be starting this year.
Exactly. And that's how deep this team is. Just to let everybody know, we're live down here at Newport and Levee. We are the pre-show before the big show. They will be recording it here. Cam Taylor Britt's could be down here. And who's the other guest?
DeJuan Anthony.
DeJuan Anthony. So if you guys want to come down and have some fun and cheer these guys on before they head out to L.A., come on down here. The show starts at 6, and so you can come out here and hang out with us right now. I want to go back to the Bengals here, how you talked about Zach having the team leave early to go do some team bonding. When you have a season like you're having right now, you could lose this locker room very quickly.
Very quickly, you could lose locker room.
And to me, people are like, oh, well, they're professionals, blah, blah. But this season has been hard, not only on the fans but on the players. You need some team chemistry because these guys are in the trenches. It's them against everybody else. You know, nobody thinks we can do this. You know, we're injured. We're not playing as good. Having these team bonding things, I think it's a good thing. I tell people on Twitter making Zach some crap about it. I'm like, what is he supposed to do? Hey, go out to LA and everybody go separate ways. I mean, I think it's a good thing to do that. He's trying what he can to keep this team together.
Yeah, no, most certainly. And I mean, Cincinnati, for all purposes, is not out of the hunt.
No.
For a playoff. So taking this extra day to fly out to Los Angeles, not only just to get out there for the team bonding aspect, you get adjusted to the time difference. It is a night game. So it is 8:30 here. It will be 5:30 out there. That is another huge reason why you take
and the Bengals never play at 5:30. So this is a totally different start time for them.
Correct. And so this is another reason why you really want to make this trip early. But in this stretch of the season where Cincinnati is sitting 4-6 on the season, where realistically many people had them projected to be 7-3, 8-2 right now.
At least.
But with how the season has transpired to date and kind of taken that downward spiral, one loss right now could deteriorate the locker room.
Well, that's the thing. That's how big this game is Sunday night.
Especially for guys who are in the final year of their contract. T. Higgins is getting his regardless.
Which, by the way, there's a video, I think Jeremy Rao put it out there, where he's running up the hill. So that was a good sign.
Positive sign, especially for
positive
me.
Sign.
I'm a big T. Higgins Dynasty League owner. And
you need him to play.
I'm trying to make a playoff push, guys. trying to make a playoff push.
T, we need you back. That's the thing to see. That's where it gives me hope, where people are like, even if Orlando Brown doesn't play, and I know San Diego's got a really good defense, but you have T out there. If he can do what he's done along the way, Jamar and Joe are playing, they could drop 40 points on these guys.
Yeah, no, and that's the biggest thing, too. Is obviously you saw what they were able to do without T.
Right.
Versus Baltimore. You get T back and healthy, it unlocks a whole different thing for this offense.
Absolutely.
And we saw it versus New York. I mean, the offense was mightily struggling versus New York a couple weeks ago. T. Higgins comes back, goes 7 for 7 with 85 yards and a touchdown. Overall, that was huge to have them, because teams aren't going to triple team Jamar.
No.
When T. Higgins is out on the field.
I think Baltimore wish they would have.
Yeah, Baltimore probably wishes they would have. I mean, I think I still see him running through the end zone a couple times. But overall, I mean, guys, Cincinnati's offense, everybody knows. Joe Burrow leads the league in passing yards. Jamar Chase leads in the NFL in receiving touchdowns and receiving yards. Overall, they bring back T. Higgins to that. Yeah, might kind of take a dive in Jamar's numbers, but the offense is going to be better. It'll open up the run game. And, I mean, Chase Brown has been on a roll lately, but I think this offense could be too much for them. But this defense for Cincinnati, the big thing this weekend versus a Jim Harbaugh coached Chargers.
Stop the run.
Yeah, that is weird to say. A Jim Harbaugh coached Chargers.
Yes.
Wow. That is really hard to say.
At least you didn't say San Diego Chargers like I still do.
Oh, it'll still be San Diego. It'll still be San Diego. But for overall, stop the run.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins has been a Bengals murderer in years past.
Yep.
On top of that, you have Gus Edwards, who is trending towards playing. Quentin Johnson, can't lose him. Deep threat ability. He has turned things up a notch over the recent weeks. So overall, you have to find a way to limit the big plays. And in the wise words of Harrison Butler, put your hips behind it and make a tackle.
Exactly. And if you guys have not seen Harrison's rant on Instagram, go find it. It's freaking hilarious. I shared it on my page. And the funny thing is, Geno Stone loved it. He hearted it. So Geno knows he's got to make some tackles. And that's the thing I keep going back to is all these losses. Most of these losses are one play, two play, one more stop, and we win. And that's what this team has got to realize. And that's where I'm like, it's okay.
You want to win games, you take the 14, the 15, the 16 play drives, sprinkle it in with some 7 to 8 play drives, scoring drives. Stop with these one hitters, 14 plays. Don't let the opposing offense on the field. Mix it up a little bit.
A good defense is a well-planned offense. I've said that before. Which they've done. I mean, hell, they started out, what was the Eagles game? They started out with a 10-minute drive. I mean, they ended up losing that game, but I mean, they can do this. And that's, to me, I agree with it. That the key to the Bengals winning is have long, sustaining drives that end in touchdowns.
Because like we talked about, Jim Harbaugh's game plan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to come out here. J.K. Dobbins is going to have 20-plus carries.
Absolutely.
I'll put it on the money right now. Expect that to happen, especially versus a banged-up Bengals defensive line.
Yep.
Trey Hendrickson is going to get his. Everybody knows that. But what do the other three do? Sam Hubbard.
Hopefully Miles Murphy gets more snaps. That's what I'm looking for.
Hopefully.
I mean, because he's starting to trend up in the right direction, and that's where I would like to see them give him more of an opportunity because they got these young guys that are making plays and doing good. Give them the shot because somebody has got to help Trey. I mean, Sam. I love Sam Hubbard, but he's not a pass rusher, not a consistent pass rusher. Miles Murphy was drafted for that reason. Give him more snaps. Let him get out there and chase after that quarterback.
Exactly, and especially right now with where you're at in the season, 4-6. Let the young guys eat. That's where I'm at. Let the young guys eat and see what can happen.
Just drop your phone.
No, AirPods.
Oh,
AirPods.
Can't do that. But yeah, that's where. And people always keep calling me crazy because I'm like, you just always believe stuff. I'm like, but they're until they're mathematically eliminated. Then I'll be like, it's over. But I mean, they legitimately do have a shot. It's going to be hard. I mean,
you get 3 wins: Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
There you go.
That could realistically put you back into the division,
and they can beat them. That's why I'm just like, I can't believe this team is going to.
You get Jameis Winston to do Jameis Winston magic and get you one more win versus a team in the division that they're not supposed to win.
Nope.
And Cleveland pulls something out, but overall, the division's still open.
It's still open. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the thing we're going for is wild card. You get 10, 11 wins, which they still can. They got to win most of them, but you get 10, 11 wins, I think you're making the playoffs. Like I said, will that happen? I don't know, but that's what's got to happen. And if they lose Sunday night, it might be a whole different discussion.
If they lose
Monday.
Sunday night, Jeff, I don't know how we're celebrating at Trillions, but hopefully it's by drinking.
we might be drowning our sorrows in some beer.
But overall, I mean, for Cincinnati, I mean, what I would like to see on Sunday,
yep.
Chase Brown get 20 carries, wear them down.
Yep.
Open up the pass game, let Joe Burrow cook.
Mm-hmm.
Let him cook because everybody knows how good he is in November. Now let him cook. Zach Taylor, I hope you have a great weekend making the play calls. But
I mean, to be honest, the play calls
still
haven't been the problem. I don't think even the short. You say the short drives, but sometimes they're freaking open. You got to take it though. That's
you take what the defenses give you.
Yeah, they're giving it to you. You got to take it.
But I'm a big believer on. I think Joe Burrow should be calling the plays, calling his own plays. I mean, we saw it in the playoff game. After what we witnessed,
maybe he is. They just don't tell. They haven't told us yet.
Maybe. But after what we witnessed a couple times this season, I think definitely you give him a couple more games. Obviously, if he is going to call the plays, and if things go south towards the end of the season, might be time to let Dan Pitcher call the plays. Might be time.
The biggest thing for me is, like I said, I keep saying it hasn't been the offense, despite who calls it.
Oh no, the defense has been
the defense has been the problem all year long, and that's been the problem is where they're like, people are like, well, who do you blame? I was like, and they always keep saying, well, the Bengals don't spend any money. I'm like, they spent money. They might have not spent it wisely.
No, correct.
Correct. That's the difference. Like you could throw stupid money after stupid money. I mean, look at the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, They got some of the highest paid
They
players.
throw
and they
money
suck.
around, but they can't invest in curtains to block the sun that quote unquote cost them a game. So I
Right,
don't know.
exactly.
Makes no sense.
So that's what I'm saying. Is like they've done good just this year and last year. They've missed out on the safety. Like Geno Stone, like, hey, listen, Harrison, I hope you do a lot better with your tackling because you're going to have to. But with this offseason coming off, he doesn't step up. Regardless, they're probably going to have to address the safety in the offseason again. It's going to be a third year in a row.
Yeah, no, most certainly. And I mean, they brought in Xavier Howard this week for a visit.
And they couldn't come to terms. Yeah.
Which you hate to see that because
Yes.
with how bad this defense and the secondary has been.
Like, I'll be like, what do you
Not
want?
only-
Here, take it. Just
Not
take the
only
money.
was he a 4-time All-Pro, but look at what he could do in terms of veteran leadership within this locker room.
Exactly.
And with the younger secondary, younger defensive back group, you would have liked to see that. But overall, I think asking prices for Howard was a little too high.
Who did he sign with?
He's still a free agent.
Okay, so that might tell you something that he's asking for too much if he hadn't signed by anybody from anybody.
Yeah,
yet.
and he has a lot of connections to Lou Anarumo as well from their time in Miami. Yeah. But overall, Cincinnati's going to need some help in the secondary. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, you look down at the snap differences from the last week, Jeff. We've been talking about this for weeks. Jordan Battle is outplaying Von Bell in the recent weeks, and I think we see on Sunday Jordan Battle take over the starting safety spot.
I wouldn't mind seeing Tyson Anderson get some shots out there too. Just change up, see what the kid can do. Because I mean, what do you got to lose? To be honest,
Nothing.
Right. I mean, no, sorry, Gino, but you haven't produced. You haven't been good enough. And Tyson's playing his ass off on special teams. He should be a Pro Bowler this year. So
yeah, and it's also the thing too is they're going up against Joe Burrow every day. Yeah. There's a top 3 quarterback in itself, and then you're going along like Justin Herbert. Don't get me wrong, he's a good quarterback, but he has struggled.
He's not Burrow.
He's not Burrow. Everyone compared him to it a few years ago, and I hope you're biting your words on this one now. But overall, Justin Herbert is good for 1 turnover a game. That's going to be the difference maker for Cincinnati this week.
And that happens. You got to catch the ball and get it. Like
you got to get points off it. You can't settle for a field goal.
Well, the one I'm referring to is Cam Taylor-Britt. If he catches that interception, the freaking game's over. Which I mean, it's a difficult catch, but you got to make that play.
Yeah, no, most certainly. And that's another big thing is you get the opportunities, you got to capitalize on them. Los Angeles is on a run right now. They've won 3 straight, so it's going to be interesting. But Cincinnati gets your head right, go in there, season still, everything you want to accomplish is still there.
Exactly.
It's just going to be a little harder to get there. But if you take care of business.
We don't like doing things easy.
No, and if you take care of business on Sunday, realistically, you sit 5-6 on the year with a chance to hit most of these home games and improve later on.
And you got your bye week. So
the bye week will be crucial.
Hopefully everybody can get healthy. So speaking of Sunday night, if you guys are looking for a place to come watch it, join me, Harrison. Neil's going to be there. We're going to be at Trillions Sports Cafe, Sports Bar. It's out there on Columbia Dayton Road. So come on out. We're going to do a live podcast. I'll be playing some music. Harrison will be Harrison. And if you guys did not watch any of last night's podcast, I highly recommend.
Harrison got cooked last night.
I highly recommend you go back and watch it. Harrison was on a roll last night. He was funny. So he'll be there doing a set. I'll be doing the podcast, and we'll be having a great time. And hopefully we'll be celebrating a Bengals win. If not, we'll hang out, and we'll have Bengals therapy afterwards. We'll see what happens. But, again, that's Trillions Sports Bar. Pre-game show, post-game show, all the above. It's a watch party. We're having a good time out there. So, Neil, what's the latest news on Bearcat football? We got anything new there from Sat? I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, so we talked to Coach Satterfield yesterday ahead of this weekend's matchup versus Iowa State, and it's an interesting matchup. Obviously, a lot of ties to Iowa State. Obviously,
right.
Tyson Veit was hired from Iowa State. Spent the last 8 years out there. Scott Satterfield is best friends with Matt Campbell, who all 3 of them actually spent time together on the same coaching staff, which
really
is crazy at Toledo and App State.
I didn't know that.
All 3 of them had time together at the Toledo. Was where all 3 of them spent time together. So that's a crazy aspect to think of this game.
Right.
But from what Coach Satterfield said, Iowa State's field isn't quite the best. It's a grass field. And if you watch on
it's been
film,
tore up a little bit.
you can see players from both teams kind of slip in some spots. And we actually joked, we were like, hey, Tyson, what do you think on the playing field out there? He goes, yeah, well, it's kind of worn down. It'll have its spots, but from being there, I guess they sowed grass down. It's a grass field, but some spots will be a little bit slicker. And the other notes that there will be special cleats wore this week. So sounds like the equipment staff at Cincinnati will have a fairly busy week before making the trip to Ames, but it's going to be an interesting matchup, just like Cincinnati. For the Bengals aspect, Cincinnati and Scott Satterfield and the Bearcats still have a realistic shot of getting to a bowl game.
Yeah, they win this week. They're bowl eligible.
Win this game, you're bowl eligible, and Iowa State is coming off a awful 2-game stretch where they suffered 2 straight losses after starting the season 10-0. They were number 10 in the country at one point. You fall 2 weeks in a row. Momentum is shifting kind of in the Bearcats. It's going to be interesting. Obviously, Iowa State runs the 3-3-5 defense, similar to what Cincinnati runs under Tyson Veit, but it's going to be interesting to see how does Brendan Sorsby adapt to seeing that 3-3-5.
And Sorsby has got to hang on to the ball. Don't try to throw it when you're getting sacked. Just get sacked.
Yeah, should have just taken the sack in that situation.
Both of them.
But both times were, I think you can credit that to being a younger quarterback. Obviously, those situations, you would like things to go differently, but
I mean, honestly,
it resulted in 17 points.
Yeah, I hate to blame the loss on him, but like you just said, it resulted in 17 points. He doesn't turn the ball over,
and you lose by 7.
Yeah,
and
you
two
win.
of the turnovers were taken to the crib too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's where he's got to get smarter with the football. And like you say, he's a young quarterback. I'm still happy with the season he's had. He's got to get more consistent. I think he's gotten less consistent
throughout Big 12 play.
Yeah, I think it's gotten, I won't say harder. I don't know if he's got more confused or I'm not sure. I can't put my finger on it.
Is what Scott Satterfield described it as, trying to make a play due to his competitive edge, which you like to see from the quarterback.
Yeah.
You would like to see him try to make the play every time, but sometimes you just got to know, hey, I got to get this ball out.
Eat it. Yeah.
I got to eat it. And you like the competitive and the fireness of your quarterback. You want a guy who's going to try and make that play, but sometimes you just got to know when it's the right decision and when it's not.
Got to know to hold them or when to fold them.
Correct.
And when to walk away.
For those who gamble out there, you got to know when to hold them.
Or if you're my age, you know Kenny Rogers and the Gambler. But yeah, so we got a lot of stuff going on. Bearcats play basketball Friday night, football Saturday, Bengals play Sunday. Can this be, in your heart of hearts, is this going to be a good weekend for Cincinnati fans? Because, I mean, last weekend, the Bengals lost on Thursday, then FC lost on Saturday. So it wasn't that great of a weekend, but the Bearcat basketball team won. So what is going to be? What's your thoughts? What's your gut feeling on the status of Cincinnati sports coming into this weekend?
For the status of the Bengals and the Bearcats, realistically, I'm feeling pretty confident about it.
Ooh,
now you turn
football Bearcats,
football, basketball. I feel confident about both of them. Obviously, Nichols is a lower mid-major school. Everyone's kind of like, oh well, they packed the schedule with mid-majors. Well, I mean, that's what happens.
Look at their Big 12 schedule.
Yeah, look at the Big 12 schedule, and then you look down. I mean, Nichols is a team that beat LSU in a secret scrimmage just a couple weeks ago. So it's not going to be an easy contest, but I definitely think Cincinnati gets the job done. However, on the football aspect, this isn't going to be a game where Cincinnati loses 30-10 and gets held to under 100 passing yards like they did last season.
Yeah.
This is going to be a lot closer of a game than people realize
on
Saturday night. And I really feel that because Cincinnati hasn't had a night game in a while.
We haven't yet to have a nip at night game.
They had the night game at Colorado, but
not a home.
I don't expect it to be as crazy as an environment as what Boulder was. Obviously, Boulder side.
Well, they had the night game at Texas Tech too, where they kept throwing the stupid tortillas at us.
Yeah, that's a crazy tradition.
That is nuts.
Did you see Shadur Sanders signed one and threw it back?
Yeah, did he?
Yeah, he took a bite out the middle, signed it, and threw it back.
Well, apparently, that makes it more aerodynamic. I have no idea. I've never.
Yeah, there was a hole in the middle, and he signed it and threw it back in the crowd, which is crazy. But overall, for the Bearcats, the key to this one is you win the turnover battle.
Yes.
Rocco Beck is a sophomore quarterback. I mean, since I saw him last season, he's made great strides this season. Force him into a turnover. I mean, Brendan Sorsby is going to – both quarterbacks haven't played a 3-3-5 this season.
Right.
So you're playing a defense that you're so similar with and you see on a day-to-day basis. But it's going to be interesting. How does Cincinnati respond? The defensive side, if they respond, they make the tackles, do what they're supposed to on the defensive side of thing, limit the big plays. I think this could be a game that goes in Cincinnati's favor and get to the bowl eligibility. Then you flash forward to Sunday, Bengals just please get it done.
Yeah.
Just
Now,
please get it done.
Back to Sat. If you go from what was their record last year?
3-9.
Yeah, 3-9. So you go from 3-9 to bowl eligible.
It would be bowl eligible with a win. And
Right. I mean, I think that's a pretty good turnaround.
I would say so. And
Yeah.
I mean, for most of these guys, Josh Minkins, Joe Royer even said, like, it would mean everything to get this program back to a bowl game in Sat's second year. And I mean, guys, look at if that is able to happen, people can stop the hate on Scott Satterfield. And I really say that because
Joe Farsing, we're talking to you.
And I say that because people are so quick to judge after one season. I mean, guys, look at hate to say it, the roster that they had last season was not what Scott Satterfield and his
Well,
staff
no, he came in late.
He got hired midway through December, and then he didn't have his staff completely built until mid-February because half of his staff got poached by the NFL. So overall, year 2, you math for Cincinnati to finish the season 7-5.
Oh yeah,
but you're going to have to go on the road in order for them to do it versus either Iowa State this Saturday or Kansas State next week. And then Kansas State is going to be a top 25 team.
Yeah, Kansas State's going to be harder than this week.
Iowa State has fallen out of the top 25, but they're sitting at 26, still receiving votes. But overall, for Cincinnati, if you can build your momentum, say they win this week versus Iowa State,
right?
You're building the momentum you need heading into the back half of the final 2 games, to where if you win one of these 2 games, I can hope to say you might see a nip at night.
That's why that was my next question. Are we going to have a nip at night this year, do you think?
That's a great question. I would love to see it, but obviously depends on what other teams do in the conference TV schedule and everything. Nip at noon has been it's been a fun occasion this season
this is the most nip at noon games I can remember. Like we haven't had one night game.
You had you had a 12 o'clock game versus Pitt. You had 2:30 game this year, and it was versus Towson.
Right. That's it.
Everything else at home has been noon o'clock or 12. I almost said noon o'clock there. That's weird. But
at noon o'clock somewhere.
So
that's almost as bad as me in the Vietnam and North Carolina comment last night.
Yeah, that was crazy. But realistically, if Cincinnati wins one of these 2 games, you might see an afternoon game. You might see a night game versus TCU.
That's the one I keep thinking they're going to do is TCU. If they're going to put one at night, it'll be that one. And I hope they do. But again, go back to Satterfield and all the hate that he's gotten. For him to turn this around and get the players he's gotten, because I think he's done an excellent job of the portal, getting his players in here. And that now I'll go back to the Bengals, where in the past they've done a good job of getting the right guys in the right building. I don't think they did such a good job this year. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong with the character or of the players or anything. It's the play of the players. You know, they're not.
There was better players out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, they're better. We had them. I mean, I keep going back to DJ Reader. I love DJ. I would love to keep him.
You go back 3 years to Jesse Bates. That's when it started.
Right. That one. And that's the thing. That's the one. Honestly, that's the one that's really hurting us. It's hurting us more than I think me or any other Bengal fan actually thought it was going to hurt us. Losing him was such a big thing. And like I said, we've probably are going to go to our 3rd year in a row of looking for safety help.
Yeah, Jesse Bates got himself a bag.
Mm-hmm. Which he deserved.
Got himself a Pro Bowl.
Yep. Which he should have gotten Cincinnati.
An All-Pro. And we'll probably get a playoff experience this year because of what Atlanta is doing. But overall, that was the biggest.
That's the biggest one, yeah.
The biggest mistake was letting Jesse Bates walk. But entering a potential 3rd year in a row, looking at cornerback or safety help in the free agency market, at one of these times, you're going to have to land on something in the draft.
Especially if you're not going to pay T, you got that money. Now the other thing is you're going to have to pay Trey because you got 3 things. That's what was frustrating about this season. You got 3 guys that are having all-pro, all-time years. Joe, Jamar, and Trey are having Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame years right now. These are the best years of their careers. They're playing awesome. That's what really sucks about how this team is doing.
If I was Mike Brown following the Baltimore game, I would have made sure I beat the NFL rep to the locker room with a blank check before he beat them down there to the locker room for a drug test. That's what I would have been, because he puts up 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. you knew the league was going to test him.
Oh, probably.
I'm still waiting to see if he actually was or not.
I would
not
be surprised.
100% positive on
He's
that.
clean. He's clean.
But yeah, when you put up a performance like that, the
Yeah.
NFL is knocking out your door. All right, we need a drug test.
Like
Saquon,
that's superhuman.
Saquon reverse hurdled somebody, and they were waiting at his locker after the game with a drug test. So I mean, realistically, I'm sure he got one after the game.
Yeah.
But realistically, Mike Brown, just hate to say it, you're not going to like it. Give him a blank check. He's going to get before the season. You could have got that deal done for $40 million
that's
a
what.
year.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like,
Cincinnati is now going to have to pay him $45 million a year.
the thing is that like, give credit to the Bengals for trying, I guess, to go out and sign him early, which I did try to sign him. Was even Jamar said that they're the ones, the Bengals are the ones that came to him and his agent about signing, but you open a can of worms that you can't close now. They're going to have to pay a lot of freaking money. It's just a fact.
You could have got it done before Jay Jettis hit.
You could
for
have
40.
Yeah.
You could have got him if you did things right. And how I would have done it would have been pay. I would have done it way before Justin Jefferson got his. I probably would have been like, okay, let's try to get this at 36, 37.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he rejects it and says, okay, let me see what my guy Justin gets. Justin gets 40. Cool. You give him 41.
And that's the thing. I thought Jamar, and I really do think Jamar was waiting to see what Justin got. And then he's like, all right, here, this is the mark. This is where I want to be.
So Justin is
around
getting
this or a little
40
above it.
year right now,
Mm-hmm.
heading into this season. The market's only going to reset. Like Jamar.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is salary cap is going up. So I mean that
Cincinnati is going to have to face the detriment of, hey, we missed this opportunity. We got to get this done now because he's going to be asking for anywhere between 43 and 45 a year.
And if anybody,
especially if he goes nuclear the second half, leads the league in NFL and leads the NFL in receiving yards and touchdowns. If he finishes as the league leader in both of those, just give him the blank check because you know that 43 to 45 million a year is coming.
Exactly. And by the way, Joe and Jamar are the FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Week. They did win that. So shout out to Houday Nation for voting for them. But that's the thing too is the salary cap's going up, but there's other guys on this team that they need to resign, figure something out. I mean, and I've said this before, there's too much money. They have too much money on this offensive line. Now,
Alex Capel will be walking in free agency this
probably,
year.
but the thing is that brings back to, okay, we don't have anybody
to
better.
fill in.
Huh?
To fill in there.
Right, to fill in right now. That's where you either got to draft somebody and hope he hits, or you got to do what you did this year. You sign somebody and you draft somebody, and you let the rookie learn behind the veteran, or however you want to do it.
And I hate to say it this way too, but everybody knew heading into the season, once that Trent Brown signing got announced, that things probably weren't going to work out due to the injury history with it.
Well, I said I said I'd be very surprised if Trent Brown plays every single game. I didn't think he'd get a season-ending injury, third game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, injuries have plagued him for his whole career,
right?
Jeff, but you looked. It's like, okay, well, I like it on paper. Yeah. I really do. And
it's smart.
It was smart on paper because there was a lot of uncertainty with Amarius Mims. Everybody knew that because of the injury at Georgia. He didn't have much playing time. But overall, I mean, you look back at the injury history for Trent Brown, you kind of knew this is going to be it could be a low risk, high reward, or it could be a high risk and you are eating the money. And that's what they're doing right now. So overall, that signing did not pay dividends for Cincinnati. And if you let Alex Capel walk, which the contract's up at the end of the year, they're going to have to do something there.
Because he's.
But if it's me realistically speaking, I move Ted Karras to a guard position and I throw Matt Lee at center and see what you got.
That to me is the underlying thing that I think is the most likely scenario. I still would draft another guard or because I wanted them to add more to the depth of the offensive line and the defensive line. I don't think they did enough there because let's put it this way: let's just say Mims gets hurt, you're already down. And Orlando Brown.
We have seen the scares already this year. Like he got hurt early in the season. We saw him go in the tent last week, and I was like, "Oh, here we go again." But overall, I mean, if another offensive lineman goes down for Cincinnati, we're screwed.
Yeah,
we're screwed.
We don't have. We literally don't have anybody else. I mean, nobody. I feel comfortable. I mean, Cody Ford is what he is. I mean, I've said it. I think Cody Ford
will be a backup tackle for his career.
I think he's a backup guard. To be honest, is what I think he is. They got him at tackle. I mean, he's done okay, but he's a backup. That's where I wish they would have added some more stuff, more depth there. That to me is, and same thing with the defense line where I keep going back to DJ Reader. What if they signed DJ Reader and Sheldon Rankins? Why couldn't they have done that?
Defense would have been nasty.
It would have been, yeah. I mean that would have got you the pressure on the quarterback that I've been claiming for all year. That makes the secondary that much better. You get that pressure on that quarterback, he's got to get rid of the ball. And that's where there's too many times the quarterback, unless Trey's having the game, there's too many times the quarterback's back there, standing back there, making a sandwich, writing notes to his girlfriend and then throwing the ball.
Speaking of Trey Hendrickson, I'm not sure, Jeff, if you saw this today. Las Vegas was on a bye week after playing the Raiders. And I just need to air this out. They announced that Gardner Minshew is going to start again. But did they take him out because Trey Hendrickson was just dominating? And they just threw Dez, guy Dez,
they threw
out there
Dez to the Wolves.
Threw him to the Wolves out there with the banged up O-line.
Exactly.
They throw Dez out there to get the reps to see what they have with him. And on top of it, Trey Hendrickson hit him, 8 times in one quarter, it felt like?
So he hit him 8.
I looked down at Twitter today before the Wes Miller press conference, and I saw that. And I was like, they didn't do Dez any justice out there.
No, none at all.
It's like you're trying to make a move at quarterback, and that's what you go with. It's like, interesting. But then I was like, that just ain't right, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially our boy Dez. We love Dez.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question about Dez. I always thought he was going to be a pretty good NFL starting quarterback. Obviously, I was wrong. What was your thoughts of Dez going out into the NFL?
Didn't get a fair opportunity in
I agree with that part.
Did not get a fair opportunity there. Obviously, he is a dual threat quarterback. And then you bring in a guy like Bijan, which it could have played out, but
he had Bijan and he also had the tight end
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts hasn't, and that time Kyle Pitts didn't score a touchdown on United States soil in 2 years.
Exactly.
His only few touchdowns came overseas. So overall, I mean, I didn't think he got the fair opportunity there. And then him going out to, Atlanta drafting Michael Penix at 11 this year was crazy.
I still don't get that. They signed
Kirk Cousins to a 4-year,
and then they drafted
million.
Penix. Like, why? And it's not like Penix is a young quarterback. He's
Penix is
he's
25.
an older quarterback. Yeah. I mean, he's damn near 30 by the time he gets a chance to actually play.
I covered Michael Penix when UC played Indiana in 2021. Think about that. We are now 2024. He was a junior then.
Right.
And then he goes out. He plays for a title for Washington. That was probably his best year of his career. Everybody knows that.
Oh, yeah.
Flash forward to where he's at now. I mean, the draft pick just doesn't make sense because realistically, with how the draft was trending, Michael Penix was going to be their second round.
Yeah.
Minnesota was so set on J.J. McCarthy, and now J.J. McCarthy's status is unclear after a second surgery today.
Wait, he had second surgery today?
Second surgery.
I didn't hear that.
On his knee.
Oh, really?
What
happened they have to do that?
Same one that had the meniscus tear. He tried to ramp it up. He was ramping up, and it sounded like it was swelling.
Oh,
so they did what was called a biological injection. Now, I'm not sure what that fully entails. It was a biologic instruction. They said the timetable doesn't change.
How?
Not too sure. But you know how medical experts and all that
they
stuff.
They got some AI stuff in the surgery now.
But it says the timeline doesn't change. But obviously, as a rookie quarterback who saw his rookie season get put on hold, not ideal.
Well, especially the way Darnold has been playing too.
Yeah, Darnold's been balling.
Yeah, I mean,
Darnold's been balling.
He's that goes to back to
the right scheme,
and the right quarterback.
And Dez did not. Back to Dez. Dez did not have the right scheme. Not only did he not have the right opportunity in Atlanta, in my opinion, he did not.
Sure as hell ain't getting in Vegas.
Not even in Vegas, in Arizona, because he had to stop in Arizona, and everybody knew when Kyler came back, it was going to be Kyler, even though Kyler is underperformed after a stellar college career. And then you get back there, and then it's like, okay, well, the injuries happen in Vegas. They're like, oh, okay, we need to make a trade. You make the trade for Dez, which is fine, or sign him off the practice squad, which I love to see it. I thought that interview was fantastic because everybody knows Dez. Like, we got to see the personal side of him. It was great to see him kind of relate to everything with his family. He's got 2 daughters now, for those who didn't know.
A double dad girl.
Yeah, he's got 2 daughters. The one he had his senior year at Cincinnati, and That story was fantastic. They did a whole segment on ESPN Game Day with it. Incredible story on that aspect. But overall, Vegas just I don't understand what Antonio Pierce is doing out there. Like, I don't. Like, he had great success as the interim head coach, and then they make him the guy out there. But it's like,
the Vegas should have kept the coach who took him to the playoffs that we beat him in. They should have kept him, and they should have kept Carr. I have no idea why. And now the
Derek Carr is overrated.
He's better than what they got.
He's a great human being. He'll give you a good locker room speech, but outside of that, he's throwing you into some very dangerous situations.
Yeah,
well, just ask Devontae Adams and Chris Olave.
Right. That's true, but he's better than what they had with Minshew, and I just didn't get that whole thing to begin with. So correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the Cincinnati Reds pick up another coach this week?
They announced their whole coaching staff.
Do you know who they are?
We could pull it up.
Let's pull it up, because I don't even know who the whole coaching staff is. I know
they announced it late last night while we were filming the show down at Moorline.
No wonder I didn't see it. Live podcast. Here we gotta look stuff up.
All right, we got it. You ready?
Go for it. What you got?
Bench coach and field coordinator will be Freddie Benavides. Your bench coach would be Brad Mills, so a return for Brad Mills with Tito. Derek Johnson returns as your director of pitching coach. Alon Leichman is your assistant pitching coach. Chris Faleka is your director of hitting and your hitting coach. Alex Pele's assistant hitting coach. Will Remilliard is your assistant hitting coach. Colin Cowgill returns as your first base coach.
I like him.
J.R. House returns as your third base coach. Kyle Arnsberg as your coordinator of advanced scouting. Jose Duarte as your bullpen catcher, who he was the bullpen catcher for years past.
Right.
And then James Keller as another bullpen catcher as well.
You know what that sounds like to me? Sounds like a World Series winning caliber coaching staff right there. At least I hope so.
Sounds like money's about to be spent.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like
that's what I think.
Oh, well, all right, let's go to that. If they're going to,
I'll hit a topic, Jeff, if you don't mind.
Yeah, what you got?
Sign Trevor Bauer, bring him back.
Dude, I've said that.
I'm here for it.
I've been a Trevor Bauer fan. I've said that for the last 2 years.
He just pitched in the Mexican League down there in Mexico. 19 strikeouts in a game. He's still got it. You can get him on a $1 million deal.
I'm here for it. I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
Signing. You reunite him with Terry Francona.
Yeah.
You reunite him here in Cincinnati.
That's the thing, though. That's I'll bring that up. That's the one caveat. I don't think, because if you remember, the reason he got traded or the last straw was when Terry took him out of the game. He threw the ball to center field.
Yep.
And that next day he got traded to the Reds. So that's why I don't think it's going to happen now.
I don't know. I think it's definitely something that could still happen.
You never know.
You never know. But overall, that's what I would do. Obviously, they're going to go after starting pitching. Nick Martinez testing the waters, it appears. You're going to need pitching in this league. Obviously, Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo has yet to have a full season healthy. They're going to need some pitching. Safe to say that.
Absolutely. And this is the most excited I've been for Reds offseason in a while. And if they don't do something, it's going to be the same as it was last year.
I will say don't move Matt McClain to the outfield.
I don't get that. Why do they want to move him to the outfield? You have TJ Friedel.
TJ Friedel's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder.
And Matt McClain could be a Gold Glove second baseman. Why would you move him?
And on top of it, Will Benson has
They need corner outfielders. They need a right fielder.
Will Benson has the ties to Terry Francona. He was a David Bell guy. Everybody knows that. But you need a corner outfielder.
Yeah.
Will Benson,
a right-handed power hitting corner outfielder is what you need.
Will Benson was never your guy that's going to come in there and give
you need Juan Soto.
Good luck there.
Yeah.
Good luck there. I don't see
it happening, but that's what you need.
I don't see $750 million for 10 years coming out of anywhere in Cincinnati.
Probably not.
But realistically, for them to compete, you got to get a corner outfielder and you got to get pitching.
And now,
and it sounds like too.
Yeah.
Might be moving Tyler Stevenson to first base.
Might be moving who?
Tyler Stevenson might be coming out from behind the plate.
Oh God, I hope they don't do that. They tried that before, and he didn't hit as good. Some guys can't handle the move. You know, it's just I want him behind him, and he got better. He got better framing. He got better catching last year. I thought he
improved last year, but
And
That
we
was-
got 500 freaking first basemen. How many more
Yeah,
first
you're gonna
basemen
have
do we need?
a full offseason of Christian Encarnacion Strand getting fully healthy. I think he'll be your everyday first baseman.
I mean, they're talking about Jonathan India playing first base. You got Jay Candelario playing first base. I mean, they got enough guys playing. They don't need.
Candelario is a signing that should have never happened.
No, but he's probably going to be on the
But-
team next year.
But you can't. You got to eat that.
Right.
You got to eat that one unless
Right.
you find a trade partner who's willing to take on most of that contract.
Right.
But I think you see him there. He's not a third baseman. Everybody knows that. Unless you can get away with sticking him in the outfield.
Who, Jammer?
Yeah, stick him in a corner.
I
don't think you can get away with it.
I don't know if he's got the speed for it.
But oh no, yeah, he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
So overall, I mean, I don't see India moving from a first baseman. Realistically, your infield should look like Christian Encarnacion Strand, Matt McClain at second, Elliott shortstop, obviously, or move India to third, or
Marte at third.
Mart.
I see him give up on Marte. I think I'm throwing last year away. I think the whole thing,
the whole
with-
suspension mess
the
with
whole
everything.
mess with him. He never really had a spring training to ramp it up. He just came in and started playing. He's still a young guy.
My thing is, everyone wants to say let's trade Jonathan India. You can't. He means too
To
much.
who?
I think he means too much to this program. Even if you move him into a bench role, he's a guy that can come in there and give you a spark when you
Yeah,
need
but I
it.
mean, I don't see him. You're not gonna
Nobody's
get much
trying
for
to
him.
trade for him.
Yeah, that's the
Exactly.
thing. You're like, we're gonna get a bag of baseballs for him. You're
I
not
don't
gonna
know.
get much. I like Jonathan India.
And it looks like we got a question here in the chat from Brad that says, where do we think Joey Votto will fit in amongst this coaching staff?
That's a very good question. I have no idea. I mean, I'm glad he's going to be in the organization. I mean, I would think hitting coach would have been great, but they already got that taken care of. Special assistant, something like that.
Special assistants to hitting,
Yeah.
special assistant to scouting, or we could see him in a role like Barry Larkin was in a few years ago.
That's what I was. Yeah. He was just a special assistant to the
Yep.
GM, right?
Special assistant to the GM, where
Yeah.
he came in and kind of did some work and some practice reps with everyone. I think we could see him in that role.
I
Never
could totally
know.
do that.
Never know yet, though.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting offseason because they got to get a right-handed bat. They got to get some guys on the bench. They got to get a starting pitcher. They got to get some better bullpen. There's a lot of stuff to do. And Joe brought this up where I don't hate this, but you're most likely going to have to trade for somebody. I doubt they're going to be able to sign anybody. Do you dangle Spencer Steer out there? You're going to get a better, and you could package Spencer Steer up in India, and you might be able to get something out of that because people are going to want Spencer Steer. You know, he's a almost 300 batting average, 20-20 guy. He can play left field, third base, second base, first base. He played multiple different plays. I love Steer. I don't want that to happen, but I mean, if you're looking to try to get a right-handed power hitting bat, that might be the guy you have to move. And then you go right field. You can have not Will Benson, but Jake Fraley.
Jake Fraley.
He could be your left fielder.
If they can get a fully healthy Jake
What?
Fraley.
Yeah. Which I mean, once he was healthy, he started raking again.
Yeah.
It was Jake the rake again. So it just depends. They're going to have to give up something to get something. And the thing is, they have a lot of stuff. They have a lot of guys that they could dangle after to get pieces.
They do. They have a lot of interesting prospects there. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with them. But I would not be surprised to see Cincinnati make a big-time splurge in the free agency this year, or if they make a trade for somebody big. I mean, we haven't seen it in the past, but, man, you have the assets to do it.
Right.
Now would be the time to do it if you're going to do it.
Well, and that's my thing is we talk about this. I think they're going to do something because they still had money left. They just extended David Bell last year. Just extended him.
Horrible decision.
I did not think they were ever going to fire him because they just did that. So they fired him. Not only did they fire him, they signed Terry Francona. And I don't care what Terry says. They talked about what the Reds were going to do. No, there's no way Terry Francona came here and they didn't talk about anything about what they were going to do or how much money they were going to spend or anything before
You didn't
signed.
just poach this guy out of retirement
Right.
off the couch without saying, hey,
Yeah.
this is what our goal is. This is
Yeah.
what our envision is. They pitched it to him. He obviously liked what he heard, made it official. They offered him the job, signed the dotted line, and is hopefully going to lead Cincinnati back to a playoff push this year.
T. Brookie said last night it was Bearcats. Today it's Reds. I'm only here for Bengals talk, so I will wait for it to start. You missed
You
it
missed the
earlier.
Bengals talk.
Yeah,
Sorry, T.
We were talking about it earlier. Well, I was waiting for Joe Danneman to get here, but he's stuck in traffic, so I don't know if he's gonna make it because the bridge, if you guys are not aware of here in Cincinnati, caught fire 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and it's still crazy to like what actually happened. Is
The swing set, or somebody set the swing set, or place set on fire.
Who's burning a playground? Like what?
Well, it burned it so much it melted the part of the
melted
bridge.
the bridge because it was the middle of the night.
Right.
No one was awake, and it just boom.
It just went up like a freaking kindling. It was ridiculous. So Joe may or may not be. He's going to be here for Bengals now. He just might not make it to my show. So T, we can talk a little Bengals again for T Brookie here. We're both confident that the Bengals can't pull this off Sunday night.
Correct.
I mean, it's the offense got to keep playing like they've been. But we both in agreement that I think that the best defense for this team is a good offense. Long, sustaining drives. Keep the Chargers offense on the sideline. If the Bengals can do that, that one, rests the defense. Two, gives them less chances of not stopping the Chargers from scoring. That's got to be the key to it. But then again, if the shots are there, you got to take them though,
Yeah, if the shots are there, you're definitely going to take them. But overall, I think the biggest thing for Cincinnati is if T. Higgins is on the field, it's going to be a whole different ball game.
Absolutely.
Than what we've seen in recent weeks. But overall, it's going to come down to the little things. And that's if your defense makes tackles.
That's the thing, and that's the thing that drives me nuts. Where like this team, how hard is that? They have to improve in that somehow.
Hey, practice squad players, I heard they make about $40,000 a year. I'm 135 pounds. If you need a tackling dummy, I'm all game for that.
Neil's volunteering.
College tuition was not cheap, guys. It was not cheap. So Duke Tobin, Mike Brown, whoever that needs to get to, you got my number. Hit me up.
Actually, T. Burger says T was limited, did not play. He was dressed for practice today.
He was on the rehab field, but he wasn't limited, but it's trending in the right direction.
Yeah, he ran.
If
you see Jeremy Rao's video, he ran up the hill, and I think that was a good sign that I think he's going to play. Now, the one that concerns me more is Orlando Brown, who did not participate in practice at all. He was in sweats and a hoodie. So that's the one where
I'm like, not ideal for Cincinnati.
No, that's the one where I'm like, how did you go from probable to not even practicing?
Because realistically, they'll have a morning practice Friday.
Mm-hmm.
If the team plans to leave, they'll have a morning practice or a morning walkthrough. They'll leave. Saturday will be a walkthrough. And if Orlando Brown is trending towards a did not practice tomorrow and a did not practice Friday,
we're in trouble.
It's not looking good for his status on Sunday.
No, so hopefully he'll participate tomorrow. Which I mean, he's only missed 2 games in his entire freaking career, and both of them are when he's a Bengal.
And it was crazy because Zach Taylor said, I believe it was Monday, that he was close to playing. And
right? Yeah, that's what I'm like. That's why I wanted to ask Joe. Like, what? Wait for Joe got here. Like, what the hell happened?
Unless today was just a rest day that they're calling it did not practice because of the injury, obviously, but. There's still a lot of questions to be answered about that situation.
And the thing is, if you guys saw Joe Burrow's press conference, there's still a lot of fire in that dude. So, I mean, he isn't giving up. That's the way I took that press conference. He's not giving up.
No, absolutely. And that's what you want from your quarterback and your leader of this program, this team. But overall, I mean, they know the goal is still there right in front of them. But they know if they go out here and things go south on Sunday, things could spiral.
We're going to have a pity party at Troy Sunday night then.
Yeah.
But we're not. We're going to have a victory party at Troy Sunday night. I believe, Neil, they can do it.
This sounds like a crazy party that might get planned on Sunday. The name of trillions of the club. We're talking about partying. Yeah, that sounds crazy. But yeah, overall, if they can get things done Sunday, they'll be in good hands. But if things go south on Sunday, and they come back pissed with the loss, I don't know.
That's not happening. The Bengals are going to win Sunday. They're going to win. I got a feeling. I believe they're going to win. Exactly. No chili right now. No, I didn't see any. I was waiting for it too. I wanted some chili too. All right, guys. So we've been down here at Newport and levee. Neil, I appreciate you coming on. I know you got to get the heck out of here, but tell everybody where they can follow you and your podcast and everything you got going on before I let you go.
Yeah, so obviously you guys can find me at cincinnati.rivals.com, the front office news. Obviously, it's been a pretty busy week for Bearcat Athletics. We have video of Katrina Merriweather up on the site today discussing their nationally ranked recruiting class that's top 10 in the country. Wes Miller this afternoon Scott Satterfield yesterday, a couple interviews. So it's been a pretty busy week, but you can check all that out over on the Front Office News or CincinnatiRivals.com. You can also find me, Alex Meacham, and JT Smith. For those who watched the show last night, we will have our third season of the Bearcat Tip-Off Talk podcast out. New episode will be coming out on Tuesday ahead of the NKU game. So we got to thank all of our sponsors for that. Then you can find me over on the Bearcat Blitz, partnered with FanDuel Sportsbook Network, which is the Old Valley, and then it's with the Believe Network as well. So you can find us out all over there on all social media platforms or mediums as well.
Neil's a very busy man, and he's very good at what he does. So please do me a favor. Go make sure you go follow him and go check out the podcast. I appreciate you coming on, Neil, and we're going to party Sunday night. I'm just telling you.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Sounds good. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Again, check us out. I got two more remote shows coming up here. Normal show tomorrow night on Thursday. Friday night, I'll be at Millions Cafe. My boy Harrison, the comedian, Harrison Butler, will be there with me. We'll be there doing a live podcast starting at 6:30, going all the way till 7. We turn into a Bearcat watch party because the Bearcat basketball game will be going on there as well. So we can watch that and cheer on the Bearcats and discuss how the Bengals are going to win. And then when the Bengals win, or actually during the time the Bengals are winning, go out to Trillions. It's out there on Columbia. I think it's Cincinnati Columbia Road. I think that's right. It's Cincinnati Columbus Cincinnati Road out there in Fairfield. Me and Harrison will be out there. Neil will be out there too. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Harrison will be doing a set. We'll be doing a podcast, have some music there, having a good time, and cheering on the Cincinnati Bengals. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to the sponsors of the show: Priority Lawn and Landscaping, Midwest Best Barbecue, and Creamery. Make sure you go check it out. Meyer Windows and Doors. Check them out at www.meyercincinnati.com. Also, my Westside peeps, go check out Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. And don't forget, when the Bengals' next home game, come check out the Mercedes-Benz of Fort Mitchell at Moreland Lager House. The pregame experience is the best deal on the banks. Open bar, food buffet, as much as you can eat, as much as you can drink for $75. You cannot beat it. And then join me Tuesday. I'll have a special guest there. I'm not sure who it is yet. So I'm reaching out for some people. But the live show from 6 to 8. The happy hours extended from 3 to 9. It means $5 draft, house wines, well drinks, and $2 off appetizer. It is also Prime Rib Tuesday. So make sure you go check that out. You guys have a wonderful day. And other than that, I'm ready to go watch these guys behind me. The Bengals Now. You guys can check it out. If you're not down there, they will be broadcasting the show tomorrow night at midnight and then Friday at 2:30. So come on down and join the show. Other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Weekday nights, the city roars. Tune in loud, turn up some more. Cincinnati show, it's time to play. Sports with strawberry ice today. 5:30 sharp, don't be late. CTV, the sports awaits. Strawberry ices on the mic, energy, it's good light. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeats strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Every touchdown, every goal. Feel the pulse, it's in your soul. Cincinnati heartbeat strong. Strawberry ice will lead the throng. Feel the crowd, it's electric now. Shouting loud, they all know how. The CTV got what we crave.